Football takes care of business at home,
and women's golf finishes in the top 5.
All this and more coming up on the Penguin Rundown. Hello everyone and welcome back to this week's edition of the Penguin Rundown. I am Noah Ricks alongside my host Bryce Noel. And Bryce, it has been a very action-packed week here at YSU. First, the football team coming off an impressive win at home.
And also the women's golf team, Noah, they took a trip to University Park at Penn State where they finished an impressive 3rd place overall.
Hey, and let's go to the football team. This past Saturday, the Youngstown State University football team had an offensive explosion as they defeated Robert Morris University by a final score of 48-28. Senior quarterback Mitch Davidson threw for a career-high 339 yards and completed more than 84% of his passes. The Penguins scored several times on the ground as seniors Tyshawn King and Dre Rushton led the way. King had a career day as she rushed for 117 yards and scored 3 times. The receiving game was led by junior C.J. Charleston and senior Bryce Oliver, as the pair were the first YSU receivers to catch more than 100 yards in the same game since 2017. Charleston caught 6 passes for 119 yards on 6 targets, and Oliver caught 6 passes for 100 yards. YSU went on to score 21 unanswered points in the second half. Youngstown State improves to 2-1 as Northern Iowa will be the first stop for the Penguins in Missouri Valley Football Conference play. The game will kick off next Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at the Unidome in Cedar Falls, Iowa. The Youngstown State University soccer team has shown success on the pitch since the season started on August 20th. For more on the soccer team, let's send it over to John Ostapowicz and Dylan Lux at the roundtable.
Hello everyone and welcome into the roundtable. It has been a long time since we have been here, and I'm joined by my partner and friend Dylan Lux as we talk about the Youngstown State University women's soccer team. Dylan, they have had a spectacular season to start and only 10 games into the young season.
Absolutely, a 5-3-1 overall record and a 1-1 conference record just to start conference play. They started this season 3-0, which is night and day difference from last season as they started 0-3. They've had the best non-conference record in school history with 4-2-1. And to talk about some individual players, we'll start with Liana Van Sice, who leads the Penguins in points with 7 in her 5 starts. She has 3 assists, which is tied for the team lead with Taylor Berry, and her 2 goals this season as well. She has 5 shots this season, all on goal. So she's had a spectacular start to the year as well.
Yeah, the Penguins have found a lot on offense, but they did fall into a struggle just a week ago. They lost at home to Valparaiso, a very, formidable opponent. They were very good, and, they lost on the road. We saw Marissa Massano get her first career goal, but yet not enough offensive firepower for them to really take that win against Detroit Mercy. But they came home against Northern Kentucky, and they were able to get it done and get back in the win column, which is something they really needed. We talked to head coach Brian Schrum, and he even said it himself, this was such a huge breath of fresh air for this team to have an offense really get back, in that win column that really struggled getting a goal on the board there for over 2 games. But, other than Northern Kentucky, they will have a very tough conference slate, and that will be as they move to Wright State in Dayton, Ohio.
And you said it, John, this offense has looked so good this year, and it's a nice, as you mentioned, breath of fresh air for this Penguins team. Last season, it took them till week 6 until they saw their first win. This season, of course, I mentioned they started 3-0. They also had 3 goals through 7 weeks last season. This season, through 7 weeks, they saw 9 goals at the back of the net. So a huge offensive explosion from this team this year, and only more goals to come. You mentioned the Northern Kentucky game. Of course, we can't mention the YSU women's soccer team without talking about Brooklyn Kirkpatrick, who on the defensive side is really the anchor for this Penguins team. 48 saves, leads the Horizon League. She also leads in saves per game at 5.3 with an 84% save percentage. And she is such a backbone of this defense. She really holds the team down.
Yeah, and we've seen nothing but great goalie play here at Youngstown State University at Farmers National Bank Field inside the Valley Sports Complex, as there has been a lot of great goalies that have come here, and that will not be the last time that we will see great goalies. But for Youngstown State, when they go to Purdue Fort Wayne coming up here in, just 2 weeks, under 2 weeks now, they will face a very good goalie in Samantha Castaneda, where she was #1 last season, and this season she's looking to take that #1 spot again from Brooklyn Kirkpatrick, and that's what she was able to do. And they also, when they faced Northern Kentucky, they faced a very good goalie, 3-time Defensive Player of the Week in the Horizon League, and Michaela Kowalski, and you saw Liana Van Sice really catch her off guard and get that goal right in there. So that was a very good job by that offense. And then they will, face IUPUI coming up here Sunday, and that's going to be a very difficult task for them, as you're facing a team that has 2 freshmen that have 4+ goals already. And when you have a true freshman like that, 2 of them, to get 8 goals together, that's a very hard team to take down.
And John, you talked about that Northern Kentucky game. They started the game up 2-0, up 2-0 after, of course, that Liana Van Sice goal, and then Aubriana Ronan's first goal of the season. They did allow a PK in the 55th minute, which halved the lead, but they were able to stay strong, and of course, that's credit to that defense. So hopefully they can continue that progress into their Horizon League Conference schedule.
And we will see the Penguins back in action this Thursday, September 21st, here at on the road against Dayton in Dayton, Ohio. I've been John Ostapowicz.
And I've been Dylan Lux.
Let's send it back to Bryce Noel and Noah Ricks.
The Youngstown State women's volleyball team returned home last week for a match against the Akron Zips. The Zips used strong serves to take the first 2 sets 25-16, but YSU was able to answer back and take the third set 25-19. Akron took the 4th set and the match with the score once again 25-16. Graduate student Josi Borum recorded a double-double with 18 assists and 14 digs, while sophomore Abby Householder led the Penguins in kills with 10. The next day, YSU took I-76 West to play the Kent State Golden Flashes. The Penguins dropped their first set 18-25, but then took the next 3 sets to win the match. This was the first time the volleyball team beat Kent State on the road in school history. Borum collected her 3rd triple-double of the season and led the Penguins with 17 kills. YSU returned home yesterday and began Horizon League play against Northern Kentucky University. A recap of the game and highlights are available at ysusports.com.
The YSU women's golf team recently returned from their road trip to University Park, Pennsylvania, where they competed in the Nittany Lion Invitational hosted by Penn State. The team finished tied for 3rd out of 10 teams at the 2-day event on September 16th and 17th. Senior Maddie Smithko finished 1st overall for the Penguins with a final score of 210, finishing 6 under par. Junior Lizzie Sauer also had a top 10 finish for YSU, ending tied for 9th place. Sauer completed the 2-day event with a score of 222. And just her 2nd showing for YSU, freshman Niranuch Prachupanic finished 25th overall with a final score of 227. Sophomore Kayla Barnett placed 37th with a 3-round score of 232. To round out the top 5 individual finishes for the Penguins, senior Tatita Ladragonum tied for 42nd with a final score of 236. On September 23rd and 24th, YSU will return to Boardman to compete in the Roseanne Schwartz Invitational at the Mill Creek Golf Course. For more information about the women's golf team, swing over to ysusports.com.
This past weekend, the Youngstown State women's tennis team started their season at the Bowling Green State University Dynamic Duo Fall Invitational. The Penguins won 3 bracket wins in the tournament with 8 singles victories and 2 doubles. YSU will return to action on September 29th at the Western Michigan Invitational. For live updates on the women's tennis team throughout the season, you can visit ysusports.com.
And now let's send it over to our very own Donald Van Horn for this week's Play of the Week.
Thanks, guys. This week's Play of the Week goes to Josi Borum of the YSU volleyball team, raking in her career number 1,000th dig against the Akron Zippers last Thursday afternoon in Youngstown. Let's take a closer look at the play. Borum comes in with the game-saving dig against the Akron Zippers. Then she comes up with a couple of blocks of her own in a fantastic performance against the Zippers. 5th-year senior out of Sterling, Illinois, we congratulate you on your 1,000th dig and an exhilarating career at YSU. Noah, Bryce, back to you.
Thanks, Donald, and that'll be just about it here this week here on the Penguin Rundown. For live sports, stats, score, and more, you can check out ysusports.com. And you can follow us right here on both of our social medias on X and Instagram at Penguin Rundown 1. And as always, I've been Bryce Noel.
I'm Noah Ricks.
And as usual, see you next week, Penguin Nation.